Hi, my name's Adam Lovelock from Coconut Marketing, and this is Whiteboard Weekly number 44. This week, I'm going to give an update on the franchise recruitment landscape in the UK from what we're seeing so far in January 2022. So I do these updates every now and then to give a bit of background. What I do is look at the most common search terms around franchising here in the UK to get an idea of how many people are searching on the main terms that we know people search when they're looking to buy a franchise. Now, to give a bit of a background, 2021 in general was a pretty low traffic year, which probably doesn't come as a major surprise. And the trends differed to the normal years of what we see in the franchise recruitment landscape. As anyone working in franchise knows, typically January, February are very good months of franchise inquiries. It tends to then dip down over the summer to come back strong in September, October, and then dipping down towards the Christmas period and the end of the year. However, 2021 had a very different makeup to that because clearly we were in lockdown at the start of last year. So the big peak last year was around March time when we first come out of the lockdown, and there was probably a lot more interest around, people kind of getting back to normal, looking for new opportunities, but that tended to die off again as the year went on. And although there was still traffic around franchising, it was a lower year than what we typically see. Now, the key to this is uncertainty is the enemy when it comes to interest in franchising. And we've seen this over the last 4 or 5 years. Initially with Brexit, all the Brexit uncertainty, you could almost pinpoint when uncertainty was around and the interest in franchising wavering off slightly. Also general elections, any type of uncertainty seems to just stop people looking for different business opportunities. So clearly, while the pandemic is still here and still with us and that uncertainty is about, it's definitely stopping people searching for new business opportunities. However, probably all of us in franchising expect that once the pandemic does go and the uncertainty leaves us, then we could be in for a really good time in franchising. Now, so far in 2022, there are encouraging signs. We normally see a bit of a rush in the early weeks of January of people looking at franchising, and that's certainly been the case so far. The interest in the first couple of weeks of January so far are very similar to what we saw last March when we come out of lockdown. So at the moment, January is looking a better month than any month that we saw last year, which is obviously encouraging. The rest of the year, let's hope it continues on a similar trend. As I say, I think uncertainty is one of the key things here. And while the pandemic is still around and the job market is really, really strong, are people going to be looking to leave a really strong job market to invest their money into a franchise to maybe not earn as much as they were earning for a while the pandemic's still here? And that's the problem that we have. Now, I think there are good times to come, and I think at the back of the pandemic, there's lots of reasons why people will be looking to start their own business and to invest in franchising. Now, we know after the economic crash in 2008, there was a real surge in interest in franchising. There was about 4 or 5 times as much search traffic in 2009 as there was in 2021. Now, let's hope we get back to that sort of level. Now, there could be economic uncertainty and people losing their jobs off the back of the pandemic that could drive that. But I think the real drive and interest in franchising is when people are starting to expect to go back to the office, to commute back to work, to go back to the way they were working pre-pandemic. Because I think lots of people have now worked at home for 2 years, they've enjoyed spending more time with their families, they've had more flexibility in their life, and I think that's a real opportunity of franchising as we come out of the pandemic. So my advice this year, we're not too certain how much traffic there's going to be, how much interest in franchising, when the pandemic's finally going to go and the uncertainty goes away. But your messaging around the franchising has to be talking to people about how franchising can maintain the lifestyle that they've learned to live with over the last 2 years. They can gain more flexibility, spend more time with the family, work from home. They are going to be the key messages. So I'd be really happy to hear, and it'd be great to hear what experiences you've seen around franchise traffic through 2021, and if you've seen an upsurge in inquiries so far in January. And if you have any questions, please do comment below.